All humans are emotional. Most men have a very limited spectrum of what they're allowed. And it's anger, perhaps shame, perhaps a touch of grief when you lose your parents. That's when it's allowed. You might be allowed to cry at the saddest sports movie. You can cry when your team wins. You can cry when your team loses. But if it's you on your own doing something, no, tears not allowed. An emotion is energy in motion.
Yeah.
So when we try to stop an emotion, that's when the resistance, the disease can show up, like we're trying to stop life inside of us.
And why do you think, right?
I was told bad chemical imbalance controls my emotions. So I was taught to be hopeless and helpless.
Right.
At 20, I had been into multiple mental hospitals already at this point, and I had just given people enough information to make them happy and think they figured something out. I was guarded. I did not believe I was worthy of help.
Wow.
Right? So now, with this presence telling me share my story, I took that to mean open up. So I went into another mental hospital and I didn't hide. I said everything I felt, everything I thought. That was the first time that I remembered the molestation. And I thought, now I know the core. I'm fine now.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, but no.
Welcome to the High Performance Human Podcast, where high achievers learn to master themselves, not just their success. I'm Creighton Bertrand, a certified high performance coach, here to share practical tools to rewire your habits and mindset. If you're ready to move beyond good enough and step into real transformation, you're in the right place. Let's get to work.
I'm curious because one thing that I've seen from people is they're afraid to open up emotionally because they think that they might lose that edge. They've defined their story of, I need that edge. I need that stoicism in order to survive, because they look through their life experience where they've only literally been living their life with three emotions, as we talked about, and seeing that those are the three that have propelled them. So they're afraid that, hey, if I get rid of any of those three and get rid of the anger, the resentment, all these things, that I'm not going to strive. I'm just going to be a hippie sitting on the couch and being like, everything's beautiful.
Can be true if you replace the three that got you there and you choose three opposite only. So it's not about only anything. If you go home and the only emotion you lead with anger with your wife, your children, your friends, that's not success. So being vulnerable doesn't mean in every business meeting, you're like, oh my God, what a hard day I'm having. And that's part of the thing. Like so many men, we've got this black or white thinking.
Yeah.
Life is in the middle. Life is gray. And our willingness to feel different emotions at different times, that's true resilience. That's true masculinity. That's true humanity.
That's so good. That's so well said that it is. But it's pendulum swing from one extreme to the other because we just want to be these absolute extreme creatures.
And I believe what makes that come to our minds is that we innately know that our extreme anything isn't working. So when we try to change it, we go extreme the opposite direction.
Yeah.
But we know that it's not changing the narrow restriction that you're in, it's widening it to begin with.
If we're talking about quote unquote stereotypical male, macho male, maybe someone that does construct, they don't just have one tool for the entire thing. They have a gambit of tools and they're not like, I use screwdriver on everything. It's like, no, you have all these other things that you're like, well, that'd be silly for you to use a screwdriver. But then when it comes to instances like this, they're like, well, no, I want this one to be black and white.
And the construction industry has a very high suicide rate. So would you rather risk having an uncomfortable conversation or lose your buddy at work, lose your best friend, because they were taught, don't share. You can't trust these guys.
Yeah.
They'll hammer next to you all day. They'll build something. They'll do business with you, but I can't trust them.
Yeah.
And that's horribly sad.
It creates that depression that you can't connect and you're isolated and you feel all alone, which is so crazy that the thing that we don't want, right? I don't want to tell you about my feelings, my emotions, because you'll reject me. So I'm not going to say anything, but by doing so, I'm actually creating the exact reality that I'm trying to prevent, which...
Yep. And you're actually living controlled by fear.
How can you be a courageous man if you're letting your fear and insecurities really dominate your life?
I'll never forget the first time I spoke to a military audience. I'm telling my story about growing up and stuff, and I've got tears in my eyes. I'm not sobbing, but I'm emotional. And after it, so many men in uniform came up and said, "You are so brave. You're the most courageous man." I'm like, "What do you? dude, you're in Iraq and Afghanistan. You've got IEDs blowing up. You've lost people. Yeah, but I would never let anyone see me cry. Don't you see how fucked up that is? And they go, yes, I do. And but they wouldn't tell the group. They would only tell me they recognize it.
What would you say for someone that maybe that is that military guy that is hearing what we're saying and they're saying, oh my gosh, that you're so courageous, you're so brave for doing this. I want to be like that, but I don't know where or how to start. What would be something that we can tell them or try to help them with?
One of the easiest tools I invite guys in is journaling, because there's no barrier to entry. You just sit alone, get a night. Like my journal is right here in front of me. Nice leather-bound journal. I write in it all day long. I do gratitude tracking in it. But all of our thoughts ruminating in our head, that's the worst thing we can do. When you recognize that you are unhappy in any aspect of life, give that energy, give those thoughts somewhere else to go. Some guys I recommend, I call it vent booking. You just write everything you hate, everything that sucks, and you destroy that paper, but it's out of you. That's not the journal you keep.
What if it doesn't go away? Because they might have the perceived notion of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do that, Andy. I write it all down and then I burned it, but I still feel it. You told me by writing it down and burning it, that was going to make it go away.
No, I told you that was the first step you could take.
Yeah, I would just want to put that down for that person that has
I used to hate
hope.
That. We are onion layers of misery and misinformation.
Yeah, I just want them to know that, cool, what we're saying is a first step. It's not going to be the last step. Yeah. So, okay, write it down. What else?
I had therapists recommend journaling to me for at least 8 years. I thought it was nonsense. I thought only little girls did that. I'm like, oh, dear diary, the boy looked at me today. I'm like, nonsense. Then I tried it.
I love your example, because that's actually usually my first journal entry is.
But I felt better. Let your experience, each person listening to it, let your experience overpower the opinions and judgments of anybody else. If anything I ever share, my goal is just raise somebody's interest enough so that they pursue something I share, or they reach out to me, or they check out the podcast, they take some action, and then they let their experience go, wow, I feel better doing that thing I always made fun of. Maybe something's there.
One of my favorite sayings is replace certainty with curiosity.
Beautiful.
So we're so certain that if I write this, then this means this. If this, then that. I hope everyone that's listening and watching this hears what Andy's saying. And if you disagree, then be courageous enough to prove him wrong. Go try it and see if it's really true.
The first book I wrote was in response to a positive psychology professor saying, one thing I can tell you is that positive affirmations don't work. And I'd gotten really good success with them. Again, I didn't believe it, but I would look into the mirror, say good things about myself, and cry because they were lies. But pushing through that feeling, I got to like, hey, now I believe it. That helped me release things. Wow. So when affirmations, like, I'm good looking and everybody likes me. If they're easy to say and silly, that's not helping you. You want to say the thing that challenges you at the core. So anyway, the first book I wrote was almost to piss that guy off. To go, no, you can't judge my experience. And again, I let my experience with them overpower one guy's opinion to say, oh, I'm not going to do that again. The professor said they don't work. And again, no barrier to entry. And affirmations are free. Yeah. You can be homeless or you can be a multimillionaire. You can say, I love life and life loves me.
So you're saying go find the thing that you don't want to say. Or should you start something smaller?
So to begin with, I did it in front of a mirror.
Yeah.
I could not even hold my own gaze. I could not look myself in the eye. Yeah. So I challenge anyone, do that. Get uncomfortable, do that. Do it till you are comfortable. Then just say, look at yourself, say your name, like, Andy, I love you. And I could not say that for weeks of trying. Then I could. Now I catch myself in the mirror like, yeah, hey, how you doing? Yeah, I love you, man.
Doing,
and
guy?
like, it's fun. It's real, right?
Yeah.
But that's what, when you get affirmations that you have resistance to, that means there's some good juice there.
It's an indicator. And that's what I've noticed about studying feelings is feelings are just indicators on a gauge. It's our definition of what we're going to do with it or decide based upon that feedback that really makes it true.
I teach and live that all of our emotions are our internal GPS system.
Yeah.
So if you decide you don't have half of your emotions, then you've cut off half of the compass. You're not going to know where to go.
So for any person that's hearing this, thinking, okay, cool, I want to get better, or I'm going to challenge them and say that you claim that you are a man. Are you really courageous enough to do this? Because this is one thing I do enjoy about this period of time that we're in is I mean, I'm not going to say this in a negative, but we have like David Goggins. We have all these like quote unquote hard men that do hard things. They do ice baths and they run 200 miles and they do all these fasting and all these difficult things, which is good from my psychological standpoint. It's like, well, is that really just a distraction running from other actual issues that you're wanting to try to control these things because you can't control other things? But do you really have the courage to face the things that you're actually afraid of emotionally? Like, I think that's the ultimate flex. Because I found this in myself. It's really easy for me to do physically demanding challenges. That's easy. Physical stress, easy. But emotional stress, that was so much harder for me.
We're not just physical. So that if all your growth and efforting and working on yourself only means physical things,
Yeah.
you're missing the majority of you. We are spiritual, we are emotional, we are mental, we are energetic, and we are physical.
Which
So
one of those do you feel like is the one that you struggle with the most, or that you did struggle when you started? I
Yeah,
guess.
spiritual. I denied that I had a spiritual self. We are eternal spiritual beings having a temporary physical experience.
In
Like right
theory.
now, plant medicine is everywhere. Everyone's, ayahuasca and doing different plant medicines and such, and
Yeah.
that can be great. People can have great things, but we are not of the earth. We are not plants. So that's why you can have a neat experience, but to keep doing that, to get guidance from plants that grow in the ground, we did not grow in the ground. This is just our temporary place, right?
Mhm.
We are spiritual beings. We are God in physical form.
Hmm.
All things that I thought were nonsense, didn't believe, would have laughed at myself hearing this 20 years ago.
And what do you think that changed that allowed you to start to change your perspective from
Experiences.
20 years?
Yeah. The thing that brought me relief for depression, for anxiety, for suicidal thoughts was energy work. It can
And
only be
when-
experienced, can't really be described.
When you say energy experience, what would you say that for a person that doesn't understand what that is?
We are energy. People have no inability to believe in Wi-Fi. Like our phones are just magically talking to each other all around the planet. Well, so are we. Like our physical bodies, our spiritual selves are smarter than a smartphone. We have Wi-Fi between us. If you have ever walked into a room where people are laughing and you walk into the crowd and you start laughing too, that's energy. You
Yes.
walk into a room and you can tell there's been a fight, there's tension, there's a weight in the air. All these things we talk about are energy. So it's in pop culture, it's in our talk, but then you go, let me do some energy work with you. Well, that's nonsense. That's crazy stuff, right? Waves of energy, our ears interpret them. Waves of energy, our eyes interpret them. Waves of energy surround us, and all of our senses, our physical body, our brain, our mind, our spirit interprets them.
So you started to do energy work. Was that what really started to change things for you?
Yeah.
Would you say of all the modalities that you kind of went through for your transformation, energy would be one of the top?
There's dozens of energy work modalities, but yeah, just whatever calls to you. It's a staircase. When I was early 30s, I was suicidal again. And someone from across the country asked a friend who was an energy person. I didn't know. And she just said, but Andy, it's not even your energy. I was like, great. What the hell does that mean? What do I do with that?
Yeah.
And that's when I began to learn that I was an empath and I was carrying other people's energies. And we have ancestors and cellular memory. We're all carrying the wounds of everyone that came before us in our family if we don't do something about it.
So what I like about what you're saying is, yes, this could be passed over from generations or circumstance or environment, whatever. Yes, this is true, but it doesn't also have to be the end, that there's you can do something with it.
I believe we're meant to.
Even if we aren't, it's such a better journey to believe that you should be doing something with it, because at least you are going to be changing your trajectory, changing your life, changing all these things by at least believing this whole thing of like, this is what I should be working on.
We all suffer trauma, and it can have little t, big T. It can be war and rape and bare survival, and it can be your dad didn't give you allowance when you were 15 for some reason. You remember, oh, that bastard. Like we
Yeah.
all hold on to different things, and they all impact us.
Yes.
Energy work lets the emotions flow, lets all those past hurts be the past. You're not freaking out in traffic from something that happened 15 years ago you're not even aware of.
Yeah.
Like being present, being grounded, all of those are variations of energy work.
Man, that's so good. I'm wondering, for the person that's out there doubting emotions, kind of battling, suppressing. And I would just say for anyone that is feeling in a slump or you're not experiencing life the way that you want to experience, that I hope you're going through and re-listening and challenging some of these things that we're talking about. But for that person, do you think that if they had to pick a modality that you would recommend starting with energy work? Or maybe you might not even have a suggestion that this is the top one to start with.
The best single thing I have found is called a life activation. This
Okay.
comes from the modern mystery school. It is a healing that is over 3,000 years old.
Okay.
I received mine in 2016 just because I liked energy work. I never heard of that. I'll try that. I like
Yeah.
experiences.
Yeah.
Not even halfway through it, I remember thinking, I don't know what this woman is doing to me, but I know I'm going to learn how to do this.
Oh,
And I
wow.
did. And what a life activation does is literally take more divine light and bring it into your physical body, which
Okay.
enhances your intuition, all of your skill sets, all of your talents. What you're meant to do is more obvious. The things you tolerate in your life that you know are bad for you, they're harder to tolerate.
Wow.
It's truly the most miraculous thing I have experienced because I experienced it. And I've
Yeah.
seen it do tremendous things for clients I've had with it. And I know hundreds of practitioners around the world. This is something that can only be done in person because it's potent energy.
Is that like a form of Reiki, or is that actually doing some sort of light therapy? Or can you not talk about it?
Oh, you could talk about it, but it's not
Okay.
any of those things. It's a different style of
Oh,
energy
wow.
work.
Okay.
It is truly bringing in more divine light, more of your God essence, more of your immortal self into your physical body.
And so for someone that's interested, where can they, you said that is it a licensed sort
Yeah,
of,
yeah. People are trained and certified.
where do they find what do they look up for that to
So
find if
it's called
someone,
life activation, and this is from the Modern Mystery School. You can
Okay.
Google either of those things. So my podcast, Real Men Feel, before my life activation, I'm supposed to do something for men. I don't know what it is. 2 weeks after my life activation, Real Men Feel. It's a podcast. Let's go.
Did you always want to do a podcast?
No
Yeah.
intention. I dropped out of college to avoid a mandatory public speaking class.
Wow.
So who I thought I really was?
Yeah.
Introvert, afraid of talking. You're told 20-year-old me, you're going to host an award-winning podcast. You're going to be on guests on hundreds of shows. You're going to be on TV. You're going to be doing all these things. I'm like, no, you got the wrong guy.
Do you love that that's the guy that you are now?
Oh, yeah. I love life. I love me.
Yeah.
I really do. And I thought that was nonsense. I used to think that when I was depressed and miserable, I thought that was the truth. Happy
Yeah.
people were the ones lying to themselves.
Wow. Hold on that. That's such a good thought. I never thought of it that way, that everyone else is lying. I know the truth.
Right.
So do you think going back to this younger version, if you could get that, I mean, obviously we can't do any of this, so just go with me. But if we could go back to that younger version of Andy and get him to start to challenge these stories that I am an introvert, that I don't like that if you would have started to be like, oh no, I do want to help people. I do want to be a spokesman. I do want to be helping and talking to people about these things. Do you think that if you would have done that, that would have allowed you to love life then? Or is that not even possible to answer?
No, I can answer it, but I don't think it's possible. So, and I talk
Yeah.
about this on my show a lot with guys. For whatever reason, we men, part of it's being manly men, got to hit rock bottom before we're willing to say that I'm wrong. I'm going to try something else.
Yeah.
So if I teleported in time back to myself, said, "Hey, do these things, you'll feel better." Like,
You'd be
"Fuck
like,
you,
you're an
future
idiot.
self."
I always think
So-
about that of myself, of like, I'm so cerebral. Everything is intellect and knowledge, that if I would have went back to a 20, 30-year-old version of myself and told him the stuff that I know, I still would have been like, dude, you're an idiot. Like, you don't know. But that was just pride and ego as
Yep.
well.
Yeah.
If again, and this is one thing that I've quote unquote prided myself, which I guess I should be careful with that, of the last 5 years, just I have a thing on my thing that says, I know nothing, of just always wanting to challenge anything that I have in my life that I think I have certainty on. Be like, whoa, be careful, because when you had certainty on all these things at a younger age, you were so wrong, and it forced you to live a life that was so small and constricting.
Yeah.
It'd be like, I use the analogy of like, it's like growing up and only eating mac and cheese your entire life and being like, well, this is all food's supposed to taste like.
Yeah. Another phrase I say to so many guys, and this I see this as reality for most men. Would you rather be right or be happy? So more important. I'm like, I welcome being wrong. I know nothing.
Are you courageous enough to be wrong, though? I would say that changed my wife and I's relationship. I remember going to therapy, hearing these things, hearing these psychological tools, going, being like, telling my wife all these things. And then I would do it just as like I did it. And I go back to my therapist. Her name was Sally. And I'd be like, Sally, I did what you said. And she's like, all right, tell me about it. And I told her, she's like, cool, great. And you did it exactly right. How did that work out? And I was like, it was terrible. She's like, okay, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? And I was like, wait, what? Like, I thought being right was supposed to be happy. I didn't know that there's this gray.
So sometimes you can get both. Both is possible. But most people, if they have to choose one, they will choose being right, which just cuts off so much of life.
It does. Amen to that. I mean, I could be right so many times with my kid. We have 4 kids. And so like anytime the kids say, that's wrong, you shouldn't do that, like, cool, no interaction then. But allowing myself to be like, oh, let's see how this goes. Let's experience what life has to offer in the unknowns and the unpredictables and all this, instead of like, okay, I want it all to be right and perfect and all this. It's like, that's such a complacent and boring life. And that was so much of my life as an engineer for so long.
We are here to grow, change, and learn. None of that's possible if we think we know everything already.
Yeah. Do you think that's part of why we want to suppress the emotions? Do you think that there's any correlation between those?
For sure. Again, the bad old joke. This is why men don't ask for directions. Or if you buy something to put together, you don't use the directions because we want to be right. We're innately right. Right? So doubt, wonder, curiosity, those are close to emotions. I can't let that in here. I must be sure of my rightness. And if when it doesn't get together, I'm angry. And that's the only proper response.
And then don't question any of your reality, going back to like when you were a kid of like, I'm certain that depression and darkness is normal. These ones that are happy, they're just faking it. I'm not going to challenge that or question it. I'm going to believe that I am right.
Yeah. Just think about how many children are spanked, are punished for talking back.
Yeah.
For questioning authority.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So I always ask guys, if your definition of masculinity, of what it means to be a man, came from someone who was a miserable bastard, why would you want to follow that?
Because I know it's all I know. It goes back to the mac and cheese. I've only ate mac and cheese. Like, this is all you eat.
But you know restaurants exist. You know menu. You know there are possibilities.
Yeah, but those guys are just faking it. It actually doesn't taste any better.
Yeah. Well, someday you'll hit rock bottom with everything tasting the same, and you go, "I'm going to try this."
Yeah.
Or maybe someone can be, "Here's some hot sauce. Try that on your mac and cheese."
Yeah. Or you get so desperate, you're starving, and there's no mac and cheese around, and you have to eat something else. You're just like, "Oh wow, that's different." Okay, this has been so exciting. I know we didn't go into so many other things, but I hope you're okay. I mean, obviously you can't go back in time, but I hope you're okay. You said so many things. I just wanted to dig in and kind of question some things. So thank you so much for allowing me to do that.
Yeah, I'm glad to let you drive. And I love when I have conversations that I haven't had before. So thanks to you too. Yeah.
Given where you've been, given where you are now, and you say that you love yourself, you look at the mirror, all this, where do you think that the version of Andy because you said the statement that, life's about changing, evolving, growing, and I would throw in there challenging, uncomfortable, all the other things that come with that allow the change. So being happy with who you are, where do you see the Andy in 20 years from now?
Oh, wow. I can't imagine it. I don't try. So this also comes from growing up suicidal. I'm not a great long-term planner. Okay. So 20 years ago, I didn't think I'd be here 20 years, right?
Well, let me ask you, do you want to be here in 20 years?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, perfect.
Like, beautiful. I am grateful for everything I have.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to have more. Growing up, my worldview was life sucks, then you die.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I was wrong. So I'm willing to be wrong about more things.
Yes. Yeah.
Or go deeper into the things that feel good. Like, there have been times in my life I have stood atop buildings wishing for what I thought the courage to step forward and hit the ground was. Earlier this year, I bungee jumped in Zimbabwe at Lake Victoria Falls.
Wow.
And the feeling of standing on the edge of nothing for pleasure versus destruction,
Ah.
so innate. Like, how does my body know
Whoa.
this is different? This is amazing, right?
How would you describe the difference in that feeling of the similar experience?
So I somehow know with the bungee jump, this is meant to be joy. This is just
Yeah.
fun. I can't wait to do this. And
So it's
taking a
just
step,
by
and
you giving it a definition.
it's the feeling. It's giving me the definition now. Then I'm like, why? Like, I can't wait to do this. Let's go. Versus when I was suicidal, everything in my body was like, don't budge, don't do this. Everything
Yeah.
in the body's locking up. Like I had the subtlest. It's just, yeah, it's hard. It's just a very different experience. Physically, I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But every sign from my body, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, was very different. And that really struck me at the bungee jump.
Wow. And what a beautiful same experience, or not even, I don't even know if I would say experience, but different definition. And that just goes to show like the story that you tell yourself something can totally change it. Like you're saying, I mean, I've studied base jumpers and people that do these extreme things. We see that, or at least the definition I used to give, these guys are just reckless and they just love to risk their life, but they actually don't see it that way. They've prepped, they've planned, they've perfected what it is they're doing. They aren't jumping to die. They're jumping to experience. They're jumping out of a skill. It's not just this negligence. There's so much more in it. And once I started to see that, I was like, whoa, that's such a different way of seeing it as opposed to my perspective.
Yeah, like people, it's in our vernacular. Like you can jump for joy and we jump for life. But no, you really want to jump for joy? Boom, take a 200-foot swing and you will feel more alive than you ever have.
That's amazing. Okay, so I want to be conscious of your time. I know you're time bound. What would you say, at least, and I'm going to use this disclaimer for you, based upon your information, your experience at this moment in time on today, what is your definition of a real man today?
A real man does whatever he wants. And ideally, what he wants brings service and joy to himself and the world.
Anything else that you want to leave anyone with that we didn't talk about, or something you want to say that's on your
I'll just
heart?
say, because it feels so. I did write a book called Still Here: How to Succeed in Life After Failing at Suicide. It's everything I wish I had known at 17. So it covers the energy work, it covers my path and twisted things. So it's everything I've ever done in one place. But again, if I had read that at 17, I don't think it would have changed me at all.
So you're saying if you're at a younger age and you aren't listening to us, hey, I hope you enjoy your path of destruction. But once you get there, please reach out to one of these tools that we're talking about.
No, I hope you're not as dumb as I was. You're not as stubborn as I was. You're willing to be wrong, right? Because if at 17, I was not looking for help. I was looking for ways to end my life.
Yeah.
So I want everyone to know you belong here. You're worthy of enjoying your life. And the power to create a life that you love is within you.
Yes. Well, Andy, thank you so much for modeling what real strength looks like, brother. Not perfection, but presence and challenging your beliefs and having hope that you can create something better than what was.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. For anyone that's interested, where can they go find the book?
It's on Amazon, or you can, my website is theandygrant.com. All my books, classes, podcasts, you'll find information about all of that at that one universal stop.